This guide will cover how you can master this no RNG Revenant build, because right now Revenant is hands down one of the strongest Nightfarers in the game and probably one of the best characters if you're playing solo, and even as a team, you could be the one who carries. We're going to cover the best weapons, the best relics and talismans, and tons of OP tips and tricks that'll take you from a squishy summon-reliant character into an absolute powerhouse that can deal out tons of damage, and if played right, you're basically unkillable. There's really two things that make Revenant absolutely broken. First is her game-breaking necromancy passive and her spirit summons that literally gives you a free army. The necromancy passive will resurrect any non-boss enemy that you kill, and these resurrected enemies usually do way more damage than your actual summons if you manage to get the right ones. And this is especially powerful against night bosses because they always spawn trash mobs before they appear. But the key here is that you need to land the killing blow. This is a bit tough. But if you coordinate with your team to let you finish off weak enemies, particularly those that spawn before Night Lords, you can end up building a small army that will absolutely demolish the actual boss fight. The best part? These resurrected enemies don't have the health management issues your regular summons do, so they're just pure bonus DPS that follows you around. But the same can't be said about your spirit summons, because good spirit management separates average Revenant players from absolute machines. You can use the 3 spirits for 3 distinct roles. Helen is fast and is good against groups of squishy mobs and for staggering enemies. Frederick and Sebastian are our workhorses. They're great for boss fights and grabbing boss aggro, while you and your team deal massive damage. Here's what most people miss out on. Spirits will heal themselves when not summoned, with smaller ones healing faster. So you can cycle between them to prevent deaths, and you can use resummoning as an iframe dodge for your spirits. If Sebastian is about to eat a massive attack, you can resummon him, and he'll respawn safely next to you instead of in the danger zone. This works for all spirits, and is absolutely game-changing for keeping them alive. Also remember, your spirits can revive you and your teammates, so if you think you're going down, summon someone and they might come in clutch. Speaking of which, this brings us to Revenant's ultimate, Immortal March. It can do so many things and does them incredibly well that it might as well be the best ultimate in Nightreign. With the right relic, it can heal your currently summoned spirit and makes them activate their most powerful attack. Did you know Frederick's spinning combo actually outdamages Sebastian's laser beam if he lands just 2 hits? Along with that, any relic that has Ghost Flame Explosion is a must-have. It turns your ultimate into both offensive and defensive tool. You can run into enemy packs, AoE them with the explosion, then go to town for 15 seconds while immortal. Because the ult also makes you and any teammates in range completely unkillable for 15 seconds. You still take damage, but you literally cannot die. Any downed teammates get revived instantly, although they don't get the death protection. Now if we're going to talk about what makes this a no RNG build, Revenant's abilities are half of the story. Did you know Revenant's starting weapon, the Revenant's Claw, is actually surprisingly strong? It has S-scaling in Faith, and will outdamage most colossal weapons of the same rarity. Don't replace it unless you find a Cypher Patar or Coded Sword, since those scale well with Faith. Realistically, it's just better to use any relic buffs that add Poison, Frost or Bleed to starting armaments onto Revenant's Claws, and then visit a mine during your runs to upgrade. The Wraith Calling Bell is absolutely broken for early game. It's FP efficient, has good tracking, and you could just spam it non-stop. It completely outclasses most sorceries at level 1. If you get a relic which lets you start the game with 1, go for it. Discus of Light is the upgraded Wraith Calling Bell. It's double the DPS with 25% of the FP consumption. This spell is absolutely incredible. Sorceries are actually viable on Revenant. You get B-scaling in intelligence, meaning you deal about 80% as much damage as Recluse does with sorceries. Staves are much more abundant than good seals, so this is your RNG backup plan. An important tip: the starting heal spell and any AoE healing incantations will restore your spirit's health, preventing cooldowns from deaths. Now let's talk about the best relics and talismans. The most powerful relic comes from Revenant's Remembrance questline, the Old Portrait. You get both Ghost Flame Explosion on the ultimate and the effect that damages you to heal teammates, plus enemies fill up your ultimate gauge faster. Ghost Flame Explosion is a must-have. This is also great for taking out bosses fast at the start of runs too. Another great one is being powered up when Spirit is summoned, which you can get from the Remembrance quests or even any common relic drop. This gives you different bonuses based on which spirit is active. Helen will give you a passive healing effect that's barely noticeable. With Sebastian, you'll get a 10 to 15% damage negation, but with Frederick you receive a 10% damage boost. This alone makes the relic mandatory. Any relic with strengthens family and allies when ultimate is activated is also really strong. It can drop on any common relic and will last 30 seconds instead of 15 and gives a 25% damage increase. If your teammates aren't down when you ult, use this to maximize damage during the immortality phase. Since you're constantly going to be casting spells, look out for Radagon's icon for faster spell casting. This one makes a noticeable difference, especially for any spells that need charging. Primal Glintstone Blade for FP cost reduction. This one is essential for sustained casting. Never go for any skill cooldown perks because they do literally nothing for Revenant. The spirit healing rates are fixed regardless of these perks. Now check this next video out for 3 incredibly strong no RNG builds for Duchess, Iron Eye and Executor.